welcome into the studio at Two Girls Treasure. Come on in. I'm putting some things in place so that we uh, can do more work later. And I'm putting things in place so we can do work now. Welcome, welcome. I'm Diane Pruitt. We're in the studio at Two Girls Treasure, and it is Mixology Monday. So I'm really excited for that. We have our Rethunk Junk Paint by Laura, Gettin Salty. You know, this is a paint texture additive, and I love this because when you use this, you can create any kind of surface texture that you want. You want thick and chunky, you've got thick and chunky. You want just a nice, light, powdery, gritty finish, you've got it. You want anything on the in-between, you've got it. All you have to do is add your paint to the Gettin Salty, or add the Gettin Salty to your paint, mix it up, and tamp it on. Do you want me to show you how? I love working with this stuff. I have some planters, and we're going to doll them up so that they will make a great addition to our patriotic porch decor, because you know what? Next Monday is Memorial Day. We will be closed, taking a Monday off in remembrance of all the people who lost their lives in the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness for us. So, with all of that, I have some plastic cups, and we won't use all of them right this minute, so I'm going to set some back out of the way. I have our Gettin Salty. I have a few castings, and I have my sweet little helpful Lazy Susan, because this is great to work with when you are painting something round. I also have chip brushes, because these are some of the best things to use when you are working with a paint texturizer. It gives you that roughed up edge so that your product goes on not smooth, because we're not looking for smooth today. Isn't that crazy? Now, with all the blues and reds and whites that we have, denim and Harbor Night, which is phenomenal, and Farmhouse Navy, which is the most brilliant popular blue. We have Barn Door and Ruby Red, but don't forget, we have some deep, rich reds. Ooh, this one needs to be stirred. But these count too, especially if you're going to do a vintage look. And then my two favorite whites, Cloud and Cotton, because you can do anything with these. Of course, you can take a linen if you're working with the richer colors to get a little bit more vintage finish, and we'll dive into that in just a little while. First, let's dive into our, what do we want to start with? Red, of course. That's where we start when we're doing the red, white, and blue. Always, always shake your paint well. Make sure the lid's on before you start shaking. Make sure it's on well before you start shaking. Give it a couple of pops with the ball of your hand, and it pops right open. Oh, look at that beautiful ruby red. I don't want to tip it because it's full. It's absolutely full. So I'm going to scoot this for just a sec. I'm going to spin this around. On your quarts of Rethunk Junk Paint, you've got a nice handhold back here. And we'll go ahead and pour some in. I don't need a lot. We're using the smaller pots today, saving the big pots. I don't know what for. I don't even know. You can ask me, why are you saving the big pots? And I'll tell you, I don't know. But I did paint some pots, and I did gift some of those painted pots. So I feel like I accomplished something. But I like my pots a little bit different color than just the terracotta. And does it last? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The plant will outgrow the pot before the pot sheds the paint. Now, I do have some pots at home that I have just abused over the years, and they finally decided they were not interested in participating with me anymore. So those need to be freshened up as well. I could take a coat of Tough Top first and seal the outside, but you know what? Rethunk Junk Paint by Laura is self-sealing, not including a Tough Top. That's not what that means. It does not include your sealer. It is self-sealing. So once you put it on, it's sealed. It's good. All right, now the toughest thing for me is to decide how much or how little Gettin Salty I want to add to a project, because y'all know I do extra. I do a lot of extra. So we could start by adding just a little bit, and then we'll see how that works out. You can always add more, and if you add too much, both Rethunk Junk Paint and Gettin Salty Texturizer are water-based, so you can add water. There is a scoop in here, but it's buried down there. So I'm just using my spoon since I've got it right here. I'm going to go with just 2 little teaspoons. And we'll scrape that down and mix it up. And if you want more texture than what you're getting with this, just simply add more texturizer. Now, I know there are a lot of other products that people have used to attain a texture in their paint. Baby powder is one. Baking soda, baking powder, baking soda is another. Baby powder I don't like to use because if you sand it back, that's what you're breathing in, and that's not really a great idea. That's not good for your lungs, not good for your eyes. So I don't use the baby powder, and I really don't recommend it. You won't get that texture that we're looking for. Baking soda, I've tried it. You can do it, but you don't get the same effect. It's not the same. There's a difference in using an extraneous product and using the product that's intended for the purpose. Make sense? Let's take this. And good morning to you. Welcome in. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I know I do my tutorials early. I love a first thing in the morning tutorial. All right. That is nice and thick. When I can dip my brush and that's the kind of thickness you get, that's perfect to me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my plate. I have the fan on low for 2 reasons. 1, I needed it, and 2, we need it to dry this. It's going to be 95 degrees in South Carolina today. Summer's hitting. Spring is not over though, but we have some summer-like temperatures today, and it's wonderful, but I'm on the inside and I needed the fan on. So we've got the air on. The doors are closed, but if you come by Two Girls Treasure, we're in here. Come on in. Come on in and say hello. Just take your chip brush, take your Gettin Salty, and just tamp it on. Look how textury that is. Can you see it under the light? It is not smooth at all, and you know that's unusual for me, but I do love the gritty texture that you get with this product. And I'm a texture junkie. Smooth texture, smooth paint, that is a texture. Just texture doesn't always have to mean that there's grit or raised or anything. It's just texture is how something feels when you touch it. A texturizer gives you a different feel. You add it to your paint, you mix it up, You tamp it on with a chip brush because you're not hurting anything using these brushes. These are the least expensive of all. And you put it on until you're happy with the way that looks. And I'm happy with that. I like that grit. So we're going to cram it down on its side, straighten that out, and then we're going to set it right here to dry. I'm going to go ahead and tamp around that top edge too. I'm not going to go inside the pot. I can, but there's no need to. I'm just going to do that top edge right there. And there, my friends, is our red. Now I'm going to turn the fan up on high. We want that to dry quickly. I'm going to stick my brush. I'm going to mist my bristles. And I'm going to set this in my bucket of red. Now, let's get another bucket out. I have red paint all over my hand. Scott's going to think I cut my fingers. I did not. Let's hit our white. And I think for this very first one, since we did ruby red, we're going to do our cloud, which is our purest white color. And we've got a spoon right here. Let's pour some in. And we'll move that right back out of the way. I use so much cloud that I just put it in a small cup with a lid so it's right here on the table all the time. I'm going to grab another spoon because I've got paint all over that one. And I'm almost to the scooper. I'm afraid I'm going to pop it out and get this in my face. Don't get your Gettin Salty in your face. You don't want to do that at all. See if I can get this out of here. Yes! There we go. Oh, I love that. Ta-da! You're Gettin Salty scooper. There we go. And it was full of Gettin Salty. All right, let's get just about the same amount. And I don't need the spoon anymore. I have one in here, and let's stir this. Mix it up. Now, I am making more than I'm going to use on these pots. By the end of the day, everything is going to be red, white, and blue texturized paint. And this is great for outdoor products because once this hardens up and dries and hardens up, once this is finished, this creates such a firm finish on your product that it's almost like a concrete finish, if you will. It does a great job. All right, so we're going to take, I did this even thicker than the red. That's not going anywhere. That's a big old clump. It is going somewhere. It's going right here on this. So take your paintbrush again, a clean paintbrush, and we're using chip brushes for this, and go all the way around your pot base. Cover it nicely, and we'll slide that over into the fan. And now let's do our pot. This is really thick. I'm going to add a little bit of water. If you're going to let your Gettin Salty and paint combination sit for a little while, then you may want to add a little bit of water while it's sitting, because as it sits up, it will get thicker. It's like gravy. The longer it sits up, the thicker it gets. So if it's thick to begin with and you're not quite finished using it, just spritz a little water in your container so that when you come back, it's not hard as a rock. because it will get hard as a rock. And now we have, let me do the top edge. If you come across a Lazy Susan somewhere, make sure you grab one for your crafting projects. For small projects, this is fantastic because you can just set them up there and spin them around. You can see where you missed. You can fill it in easy. And these are usually really inexpensive. There we go. All right, we have a red, we have a white. And now let's do a blue. Let's scooch this over. Our red's drying really nicely. Let's add our white over here to it. There we go. And we're going to go with Farmhouse Navy so that we have that bright red, the bright white, and we're going to have the bright blue. All right, let's get some of this in our cup. That's nice and thick too. This one's almost at the end, so the paint is thick anyway. And we can add a little bit of water to the paint to thin it before we add our Gettin Salty. Not a lot, just a little mist of it. And here we go with the scoop. I think this scoop is definitely a little bit more than that teaspoon, but one scoop should do us. We do need a spoon to stir it though, so we'll grab one. We'll stir this up. Yes, this is a metal spoon out of my kitchen. No, please don't tell Scott. Good morning. Stupendous. Thank you. Thank you so much. These products are all available on our website. Purchase the paint and the Gettin Salty, and I'll throw some chip brushes in for you because you're going to need them. Come in and make your purchases today, and we will definitely throw some chip brushes in with it. Red, white, and blue, we're moving into our patriotic season. One scoop was not quite enough. 2 scoops is too much, so we're going to add just a piece. Pardon me. And I think because I added water, this isn't thickening the way the white did, which is just fine. The paint was really a little too thick. When you keep adding your texturizer to your paint, only add a little at a time. Once you've put it in, if you're going to add to it to thicken it, be cautious about how much you add. Good morning. Because you don't want too much too quickly. Make sense? I think that'll work. I don't think it's quite as thick as the white, but I think it's in line with where we had the red. Well, let's try it and see what we get. We'll turn them upside down, and yeah, that works. It's a little thinner, but I think it'll still be textury enough. It is. It mostly is. And we will do the bottom with our farmhouse navy. Once you add the texturizer to the paint, your dry time does increase a little bit. Don't panic. It'll dry. Just give it the fan, give it a little bit of time, make sure it dries really well. I'm going to add still just a little bit more texturizer to this because I feel like it's not quite as chunky as I want it. Thinning the paint and thinning the texturizer are definitely two different things. And this is like pudding. I don't want pudding, I want chunky. So I just did exactly what I said don't do. I didn't add just a little bit, I chunked it in there. Now we have some texture. Stir it up really well, get all of that texturizer mixed into that paint. Get it off the sides, scrape your sides. Mix it really well so it gets off the spoon. Yeah, this is what I was going for. I like a good smooth paint job until I am working with the texturizer. And when I'm working with the texturizer, I want texture. Good morning and welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me today on YouTube. Make sure you hop over and like our Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We try to do a live tutorial every day, Monday through Thursday, right here at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We're on the East Coast in Florence, South Carolina. We will be closed for Memorial Day, so we can spend time this week together. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right here in the studio. Yeah, this is the kind of texture I was looking for. And again, as you're going around, if you see some blank spots, just fill them in. Tamp your paint on so you get those peaks and valleys. Give your texturizer the conditions under which it's going to work well. Tamp that on, around. I want to make sure I cover all the spots, and then we're going to go right across that top edge and just fill that in. Ta-da! There we go. And if I missed anything, we'll catch it in a little while. You can always add another coat. But remember, if you're using this as your base coat, you're going to go over it with another color. So don't panic if you see some bare spots. Either cover them up right then, or just wait until you hit your next color. It'll be okay. All right, there's our blue. Isn't that lovely? So now we have our red, we have our white, and we have our farmhouse navy blue. These are fantastic. Well, now what? We did all the texturizing, and I sure didn't mean to tink that down in there. Let me wipe that off real quick. stick it back in my bucket because we're going to use that. Let's move our ruby out of the way, right there, and then we'll move our cups so that the fan's not blowing on them. There we go. That works for me. All right, now I'm going to wipe this off real quick because when I put the color on over the red, I want to make sure that the color I put on is where I want it. And we've got a little bit of extra right here from the blue, and I want the blue where I want the blue. All right, now I'm excited about this part. Let's get out our cloud, and I'm going to grab a brush that I have just abused. It's a little bit fluffy, not real smooth. That's what I'm going for. And I'm going to load it with a good little chunk of cloud. We're going to come right over the top of the red. Got a little bit that's still damp. It's okay. We'll put that white stripe right across that bottom. And if you want to, bring that white around that rim edge. Probably not while we're doing this, simply because it's got to sit down somewhere. So we'll sit that down. We'll hold on the rim. Shouldn't have done that. All right, let's do this. I don't want perfectly even stripes. The brush will control the width of the stripe. If it's a little too wide, perfectly fine with that. Now, we absolutely could tape these off. I really don't want to. I'm going to put 3 stripes of white. Just like that. And we'll set this down, wipe that off. I'm going to get another chunky brush, and we're going to grab our farmhouse navy again. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to do a fill-in in between the stripes. So we put 3 stripes, and we've got a nice red section right here. We're going to blue this section. And it does not have to be in its entirety. I'm not trying to go up against the white. So I'm going to leave just a little spot of red. And we will do that top edge. And we'll get the top edge with the white where we put the stripes. All right, now we need to let that dry. And we'll take in our white. All right, so we have our ruby. We grab our ruby back. I do need it. And we'll grab one more fluffy brush. Crack open our beautiful ruby red. Take our fluffy brush and dip it. Make sure we've got a good load of red on here. And we're going to come across with one good stripe. This is nice and chunky. We've got a good texture going here. And one really nice red stripe. And we'll set that down so that can dry also. And let's do the same thing that we just did, but let's do it with our red. Let the width of the stripe be the width of the brush. I'm going to be so covered in this paint. I don't mind though. I think it looks gorgeous. All right, come again. I didn't leave near as much space on the in-between. It's okay. These are handcrafted, freehand painted. They do not have to be perfect. If you want straighter, more perfect lines, tape them off. It's okay. Just tape it off. I am not looking for that kind of perfection in my finish. I think we can go 4 stripes on this one since I didn't leave all the space in between. Those are some great stripes. I like it all the way to the bottom. All right. This one we have 4 stripes on. And a guest coming in. Is it time to go? It is. I'm not ready. Good morning. Welcome in. And again, we'll take our farmhouse navy up the side. Not right on top of the red, but close to it. Close to the stripe, we'll leave a little sliver of white on the in-between. Good morning. And super. Oh, I'm loving the stripes, the red, white, and blue. These are going to be fabulous when they're finished. I'm going to turn the fan back on, set this back up. These are going to need to dry for a little while because that's a lot of paint going on. We're going to do the exact same thing with our blue one. We will stripe it with red and white all the way around, and we will leave the space for the blue. We'll just stripe this one in red and white. This one's not quite dry, so we can't do this yet. We also have a guest in the house. And it's time for me to go. I know I'm not done playing yet either, but I'll finish these and we will post the pictures on our Facebook page, Two Girls Treasure. Make sure you go over there and grab a like so you get notified when all of these pictures of the finished products go up. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning. for Mixology Monday. It's one of my favorite days. Have a beautiful day. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. I'll see you right back here tomorrow for another fabulous tutorial. Y'all have a beautiful day. Bye now.